Hi there, my name is Ruth. I am a pattern designer and technical editor for knitting, crochet, and Tunisian crochet patterns. So basically that means I come up with ideas for patterns, I write them down, and I also edit patterns for other people who do the same thing. So it has been a while since I did something like this. I don't think I can even confidently say that I have a podcast anymore because it's been like a year since I posted a video. So I'm going to call this a vlog, and I think we're going to see if I could do monthly vlogs just to catch you guys up on what's going on, especially because I've started posting video tutorials for techniques on my channel again. So if I'm going to be posting techniques and tutorials, I'd like for you to see my face and know a little bit about who I am. So I am going to show you some of what I've been working on, some of what I've finished, and I think that's about it. I think for a vlog, I just want to do it as a project vlog. There will be separate videos for when I have designs published or if I'm participating in events or anything like that. So let's just do this as a project vlog and see how it goes for now. One of my projects that I'm currently working on for a big knit and crochet along is a pair of, it's called Turkish britches by Lisa Shemery, who is Frogginette Knits. And this is a pair of knitted kids pants. So these are for my 6-year-old. The pattern goes from, I believe, toddler all the way up about to a children's size 10, which is a huge range for a kid's pattern. And they're knitted top down. You can see there's these cute little buttonholes for where there's going to be a drawstring cord through the waist. And in the back, I did not do this properly. Sorry, Lisa, if you see this. I didn't do as many increases as I was supposed to do, but there's nice shaping for the rear and extra instructions if you're knitting for a child who's still in diapers. So I am at the point that I have done the top all the way down to here, and I'm starting to do the leg decreases. I also really like about this pattern that there's options to do them sort of knee length as well as full length. I am going to do the full length ones, assuming that I can add length if I need to later. My 6-year-old is a pretty skinny kid, so I don't think that he would grow width-wise before he would grow lengthwise. The yarn I'm using for these is Knit Picks Brava 500, which is a giant 500-gram ball of 100% acrylic from Knit Picks. Whoops, I've got a twist tie in there. The reason I like something like this for garments is because you don't have a lot of ends to weave in, and you also have fewer problems with dye lot issues. Now, obviously, with something like this, a more mass-produced acrylic, you're going to have less issues with dye lots, but it's not impossible. So something that I can just work from all the same ball of yarn, have minimal ends to weave in, that's really ideal for me. I am magic looping the legs because I could not find my ChiaoGoo little circular needles, and also because I just find it more comfortable to magic loop. This is just what it looks like when I'm magic looping. It's a fairly mindless project when you're not having to count the increases for the bum of the pants, which is where I messed up. I thought that I could knit these while I was supervising homeschooling because I like to have a project while the kids are doing their independent work, but I still need to be there to give direction and supervise. So it keeps my hands busy and I get to work on a project while they're working on their projects. And it turns out that while these are fairly simple, I still need a project where I'm not counting. So these are a medium focus project. One of my great mindless projects are just double crochet hats. I know this is really boring to see on a podcast, and it's basically the equivalent of like a stockinette knit hat, but this pattern I've been making since college and my husband loves it. Obviously, this is not an adult-sized hat. This is for my 5-year-old. I'm trying to use up this year some of my single skeins of yarn that I got because they were beautiful, and I've been kind of hoarding them because they're so nice, and or I didn't know what to do with them. So one of my goals for this upcoming year, for 2023, is I want to do hats like this, or maybe basic socks, and see if I can find a local charity to donate them to. There is no pattern for this. This is just a basic double crochet hat worked in a spiral. See? It's just a spiral and you increase it as one does a normal hat. There's plenty of patterns for things like this out there. It's, you know, nothing fancy, but the yarn is. The yarn is from Yarnaceous Fibers, and it's very nice, and I like Maggie, so Maggie's yarn. The next thing I'm working on off and on is a blanket that a friend asked me to make. She has a new, I'm not sure if it's a niece or nephew, who was born prematurely, and she asked me if I would make a blanket, and she picked out this pattern specifically. This is the Lee blanket. I'm going to put everything on the screen. Lee blanket by Kate Oates. Her brand name is Tot Toppers. I'm going to see if I can show you. It's a reversible cable pattern. So you can sort of see the cable here and cables on the back. So it's fairly wide, but not so wide. I think this will be a good width for a baby blanket. And the yarn I'm using is Barocco Vintage, basically 50% merino and 50% acrylic. So it's a mid-range yarn. I consider it to be a fairly budget-friendly yarn considering the prices of acrylic yarn these days. It's about, I want to say it's about $10 a skein for a 100-gram skein, which for wool is not bad. And if you get it from Webs, which is yarn.com, if you kind of save and do a large order from them at once, you can get a quantity discount, which is great. It's one of those things where basically the more you purchase, the more of a savings you get. So I like to wait until I have multiple yarns that I want from them, or multiple large quantities of yarns, and do it all at once so I get the discounted price. And I think it comes out to more like 7 to 8 a skein for 100 grams of yarn, which for something that's at least 50% wool is not bad at all. Oh, while I'm here, let me show you these cute little stitch markers. Can you see them? These are from Twin Mountain Handcrafts. So these are made, they're cut by, oh here, this one's got a little coffee on it. These are made by, oh gosh, why did I just forget your name? These are made by Leslie, who is one of my long-term pattern testers, and her wife, Lindsay. And they do super duper cute. Like there's a little bunny, there's a little dinosaur, there's coffee pot, and they do them in wood and acrylic and stuff like this. And there's even really cute earrings, which I'm just gonna go grab and show you real quick. Look at these. These cute little honeybee earrings. Look at that. They're little honeybees. Little sparkly octopuses. Oh, I'm gonna have to do the podcaster thing. Sparkly octopuses. They're super cute. So this is my little commercial. They make good stuff. I like them a lot. So yeah, it's just very cool, fun little stuff. All right, next project. This is another knit / crochet along project. This is the Bumps in the Road cowl by Sandwich Stitches. And this one should have been done already, but I lost the crochet hook that I was using and I had to get another one. So this will be finished shortly. Probably by the time you see the next vlog, this will be finished. But this is just a nice, I think this is going to be tighter. I think this is tighter than her pattern gauge. Ooh, that's almost a hat. But this is just a little, like a neck warmer that you could pop on under a coat. It's meant to be a little bit taller. Probably I'll do it 1 or 2 more rows, but this would also be really cute as like an ear warmer or a headband, or one of those convertible, do you know like the cowls that can turn into a hat? Like if you drawstring it at the top, so it can be a cowl or a hat. That would be really cute. And this is another yarn that I have been hoarding, but I decided to use. This is Merry and Bright, I believe. All of my tags are on my bedside table, so I will edit it in. But this is from Beachy Breeze Fibers, and it's just so nice. And I've had this, again, for like 2 or 3 years, and I finally decided to use it because, hooray. It's time to use up the stuff that I've been holding on to. And that's part of, if you saw maybe the beginning of this year, I was talking about doing what I called stash enjoyment, which isn't the same thing as working only from stash, but the goal is to use yarns that you actually enjoy and to use the yarns that you have that you think are beautiful instead of holding on to them for someday when you find the perfect pattern, to just enjoy them. Obviously there's, you know, plenty hanging out in there. So along those lines, I've also been working on spinning up some of the fiber that I have, which is what this spot back here is. I've not been super fast at it. I don't spin as much as I knit or crochet, but I like it because it's something that I can't turn into a business. When I do knitting or crochet projects, for example, like these. This was going to be a slipper, and then I put it on my foot and decided I didn't like it. So it's turning into a top-down mitten, and it's working out very nicely. But I tend to take projects that I'm just winging and then write them into patterns. And so it becomes a project within a project. And I don't necessarily mind because I do enjoy the process of pattern writing, but it's nice to me that when I'm spinning fiber, I can spin it up and then it's just done. There's no other tech editing or testing or pattern writing or anything. It's just you spin it and you ply it and you wash it and it's done. So I obviously have multiple things in this bag. I have something else that I can't really show you too. Oh, Christmas colors. This is Yarn Cafe Creations. Gumdrop Nougat. And it's pooling, which is fun because I wasn't actually trying to make it pool, but it is. It's pretty sweet. Not upset about it at all. It'll be interesting when I add the gusset in though, and it stops pooling. We'll see how I like it then. This next project is one that's been on hold for a while, and I'm going to show you this. This I had originally made. 2 of my nieces were having babies at the same time, and I was going to make this as a gift for her, but she is 19 or 20, and this is a very kind of traditional looking blanket. It almost looks like a rug, doesn't it? Like it almost looks like it could be a nursery rug. And when I was looking at her, I thought to myself, you know, this isn't really her style. She's fancier. She's fancier and cooler than I am. So it's pretty and my daughter likes it. So I'm thinking that I might finish it up and just give it to my daughter, who's 5 and likes just about everything that I make. But it's also not huge. Like this for her, she would probably use this as a doll blanket, a doll rug. I don't know. This is stash yarn also. So this is just me working through stash yarn that I have, just acrylic from Joann's, which is great for baby blankets because then you just throw it in the wash and it's fine. It's either this or superwash wool for me when I'm doing baby stuff. So, speaking of superwash wool, I have made progress on my Scrappy blanket. And again, this is nothing fancy. This is just linen stitch in crochet with a combination of DK weight yarn and fingering weight yarn held double. And so I'm just doing 5 rows of one color, 2 rows of the next, and 5 rows of the same color again. And then I switch. And occasionally there's places like here where that didn't quite work out because I don't always have enough for 5 rows of each color. And probably eventually this will become just straight up Scrappy, where I've just got like 2 rows and 3 rows and 5 and 7 and whatever. But for now, I'm enjoying the fact that it's still sort of patterned while at the same time being Scrappy. So the cool thing about this is that I've worked it out. Like, doesn't that look pretty? I think it does. I've worked it out so that each row takes just about 5 grams of yarn. So I can weigh a ball of yarn before I start and figure out if I have, basically for each of these big colors, I need about 50 grams of yarn. So I don't have as many that are like that. But these little stripes are only 10 grams of yarn. So we shall see. We shall see what we will do. Not sure. Because my scrap bucket, there's a lot of, you know, like this one, yes, I have 50 grams on there. But this is just a mini skein. This one probably has, you know, 15 grams on it. This one, 10, so this would be like a center color. And stuff like that. So, and again, same thing like this. This one I'll probably use for the center color twice, you know? So it's just a matter of progress and working on it, and it'll get done eventually. This is another relaxation homeschool supervision type project. Is that? Oh, that's a join in the yarn. I thought someone had cut my blanket. That would be not very nice. It was not cut. It was just a join in the yarn because I had 2 leftover balls of yarn. So we'll see. We'll see where that ends up. Oh, I have been working on a sweater. This is one of the sleeves. Pretty sweet, right? Just like a nice, this is just, again, this is me swatching and it's turning into a pattern design. This was going to be my Rhinebeck sweater for New York Sheep and Wool, and I did not get it done in time. So I have this sleeve. The second one is almost completely done. I'm gonna have to put it back on the needle at some point. So the second one is almost completely done. And the body is completely done. I'm doing it bottom up. So the cool thing about this is that I wrote this up in 9 sizes, I believe, and you're going to be able to mix and match the body and the sleeve sizes. So if, for example, like me, you have a larger bicep circumference than you would normally see working with a certain pattern bust size, you can choose a larger sleeve size. It's pretty sweet. So this is, I want to say this is size 4 or 5 in the bust and like size 6 in the arms. And I'm still working on writing it in such a way that it will be functional for you guys to be able to mix and match your sleeve size with your body size. But I'm really excited about that because that means that more people will be able to make a sweater that actually fits them well, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to give you guys the tools to make projects the way that you want to, because that's what I'm going for. I know that sort of makes me obsolete eventually as a designer, but I like to be able to give you the tools so that you can work a project that actually fits you, because there's really not much that's worse than spending excessive amounts of time, money, energy, everything into a sweater, and then you try it on and you're like, thanks, I hate it. I will never wear this. I've finished this popular sweater pattern and I will literally never wear it. I was knitting a sweater pattern by a popular designer who shall remain unnamed, and I got partway up the sleeve and I was like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna fit me. I had picked a size that had like 4 to 6 inches of positive ease in the bust. Like I even went up a size on the bust, and the sleeves were just too tight. And it was stranded colorwork, so there was no stretch. There was no anything. It was just, I would have had to do all of the math to recalculate it, and it was a raglan, so I would have had to do all of the raglan decreases, like, it was just a nightmare. And so I decided, nope, I don't care how popular this designer is. I don't care. It was a project for a knit along. And I just went, nope, not doing it. If you can't, if I can't wear it in the end, it's not worth it. So there we are. Something else fun I've been playing with. I got this little e-spinner. And so this is a little plug-in. This is the Electric Eel Nano. This is the smaller version. So this was like, I want to say it was like 130 instead of 300. So it's for a spinning thing that's fairly reasonably priced. Spinning wheels, like wooden ones, can be hundreds and hundreds. So it's pretty nifty. I just started using it last night. And one of the things I really like about it is that because you don't have to treadle, I'm actually able to teach my kids a little bit how to spin on this. So my 9-year-old, because he didn't have to treadle, was able to start, you can see, maybe. I'm gonna stick my face right behind it. Can you see up here how it's thicker up here and thinner down here? This is where he was spinning. But he was able to sort of get started with drafting and start to understand what drafting is, because he only had to focus on his hands, not on his feet. So I think this is going to be a really cool tool to teach my kids to spin on, because they've been asking me to spin forever. But kids tend to like race on the treadles, you know, how fast can I pedal? How fast can I pedal? And then they don't really go with their hands. I could teach them on a drop spindle. I just haven't yet. So I think this will be really cool. When I was spinning on it, I found that the way it twists and the intake is very smooth. It's very quiet. It has an on-off toggle switch here. So if I'm going at a certain speed, I can leave it at this speed and just toggle it off, which is awesome, because then I could just, you know, slide the yarn guide and toggle it back on and keep spinning, which is super awesome. So overall, I'm really, really pleased with this. I don't know that I would necessarily use it exclusively in place of the spinning wheel that I have, but it's very cool for, like, I can just put this out on the kitchen table and spin for a couple minutes and make dinner or whatever, as opposed to having to lug my wheel into the other room or having to set everything up in here. So this would also be great for travel. Like if you were traveling and you were going to stay in a hotel and you wanted to spin while you're there, look how tiny it is. He's a little baby and it's super cute. The bobbins hold 2 ounces each, and it came with 6 bobbins. I was like, what? Whoa, I only have 3 for my Ashford kiwi. I only have 3, so I can't even do a true 3-ply on my kiwi. And this came with 6 bobbins, so I will totally be able to do a true 3-ply sock yarn, which is very exciting. So, overall positive, assorted wool, yeah. I think that's it. It's been like 20-25 minutes. A little bit of a project update, and hopefully you guys will get to see some more. This feels very reasonable, like a nice little chat about projects, not too long. I'm not going to do any like stash acquisition nonsense. I buy yarn. I'm working on buying less of it and using what I have. I'm not going to do 20 minutes of showing you yarn. Because I am apparently not a podcaster anymore. Yep. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I will see you again next month for a January vlog with some pattern project updates, maybe some new pattern releases. And yep. Bye.